don't ask what's in these gummies. Let some people get in and tell some stories, tell some jokes, do some rants in a funny way. Hopefully, you guys will find some value in that. Maybe you'll learn something, okay? Kind of a social commentary, end of the world comedic commentary. People say I look like Joe Rogan. Myself, they say I look like Seth Rogen, and I sound like Joe Rogan sometimes. Y'all gonna need to decide which Rogan I'm gonna be. Well, anyways, so look like Seth Rogen, sound like Joe Rogan. Maybe sometimes I sound like George Carlin. Either way, all those people are more famous than me. But if I'm an amalgamation of all three, you would think I'd be 3 times as famous. I don't know. Maybe you guys should do something about that. I don't know. But we'll have a few more people cycle in here. Maybe we can get into a few jokes. So again, don't ask what's in these gummies. Here's a joke. The world's ending, but you still got to go to work tomorrow. You got bills to pay. That's the joke. It's our life. There might be a couple jokes from my last stand-up, mainly because the recording got messed up. So I wanted to take the stand-up and put it on YouTube. We're still kind of just waiting for more people to get in. We're just kind of chatting, but there might be some funny right now. But that recording didn't save. The recording didn't save, so it might be a couple of repeats. But so we're going to go through some stuff I've thought about and have prepared. And we're going to open up to you and give me some topics to rant and talk about, and hopefully put in somewhat of a comedic light for you. What's going on with the Palma? Bad shit, I hear. It's really hard to tell what's true and what's not, but that's kind of the case with the whole world, ain't it? I'm concerned. But I guess that's not really, strictly speaking, funny. Besides the fact that people think that they're going to run away from a 100-foot plus tsunami if they live on the East Coast. Have you ever seen when people leave or flee a hurricane? A ton of people choose not to evacuate. Even that being the case, the roads are backed up. Okay? Now pretend literally 100% of people want to evacuate because there's a giant ass tsunami coming to wipe them out. You ain't getting anywhere. You really aren't. You really aren't. You're all going to get the warning at the same time. It's going to take you time to get boot scoot out of your house. So you're screwed. So I tell you, one thing you can do is get to high ground. But that's the funny part, is that people seem to think that everything's going to be fine and they're just going to leave once they hear about it. If you're really worried and you're going to leave now. Leave now if you're really that worried. Leave the East Coast. Go somewhere else. Because if you think you're going to leave once you get that warning, you ain't. I'm not telling you to leave. I'm saying if you are worried to that level, leave. Yep, high ground. That's where you got to be. Even a skyscraper, guys. That being said, that's not that funny. So let's get into some jokes. So, kind of said this earlier. There's a lot more people now. But here's a joke. The world's fucking ending. But we still got to go to work tomorrow. Rent's due. We can't afford shit. And that's it. That's the joke. It's our fucking life right now. Okay? Through no fault of our own. Look, I know it's not funny, guys. But it's true. It's a fucking joke. Alright? Again, some of this may be repetitive from some of my previous routines if you've seen that. I want to have a recording, and hopefully this one actually records because the last one didn't. Next topic. Let's talk about cults. You guys ever know anybody that was in a cult? You can let me know in the comments. I'll keep an eye out. I've known a lot of people that were in a cult. For example, there was a cult right across the street from my first apartment. There was a grocery store right next to it. Fucking cult. Big fenced-in compound, high-rise kind of building in there. I don't know, 6 stories, several buildings in the compound. It was all cool with everybody. You know what I mean? They didn't really bother nobody. They're just next to the grocery store. They had gated security, all that fun stuff. Nobody knew what goes on in there, and nobody cared. I mean, we were a little bit curious, but they didn't bother nobody. We left them alone. That being said, this wasn't like they stay in that compound kind of cult. Like, they all went to work. Okay. When I used to work in industrial supply, one of my customers was the receiving guy at a factory, and he was in this cult. I come to find out. Okay. Funny enough, his name was Luke, just like me. That's probably why he sticks out in my head. That, and also the fact he was in a fucking cult. Okay. But so he lived on this compound, but then he just went off and did a normal job. Right. Nobody was drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. They weren't hurting nobody, so everybody was just cool with it. But it was weird because everybody knew there was this giant cult in town next to the grocery store that everybody went to, and we just all kind of lived with it, right? But so, also, my cousin was in a cult. My cousin, who basically, throughout different points of my life was like a brother to me, okay? He moved to Texas, and like El Paso and New Mexico, like, kind of bounce around. He ended up in a cult. I don't know all the details. It was some kind of like, it was like based in Judaism, which, he's not historically a Jew, but it was based in that, but then added a bunch of cult stuff mixed in, and it wasn't like, what is it, Cabal or whatever. It was just something like very niche, culty, you know what I mean? It wasn't something widespread. He ended up in that for a while. Here's the point I want to make, is every single person I've known in a cult, and I've known a few, doesn't fucking know they're in a cult until after they're out of the cult. I feel like that's a prerequisite of that position. That's got to be on your resume that you don't fucking understand that you're in a cult. So I'll propose to all of you, perhaps in one form or another, you're in a cult right now and don't know it. Would you know? You wouldn't. Okay. That's the joke. All right. That's cults. 100% of people that are in a cult don't know they're in a cult until they're not in a cult anymore. Here's a joke. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball? What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball, guys? Come on. That's what she said. That's a joke. All right. Man walked into a bar. Comes up, sits on the bar. He sets down a small paper bag, and it's like wiggly wobbling, this bag, right? Sets down his dusty old lamp. He orders a drink. Bartender says, whoa. You can't bring pets in here. Why you got like a kitten or something in a bag? He said, no. It ain't no kitten. This ain't my pet. Okay? And he reaches in the bag and he pulls out a little tiny bench, like from a dollhouse. And he pulls out a little tiny grand piano, like in a dollhouse. And he reaches in and he pulls out a little 12-inch man in a nice suit. Okay? He sets him down. The guy walks over, sits at the piano, and starts playing beautiful music on this tiny piano. Okay? Beautiful music. And the bartender, rightfully so, is like, what the fuck is that? The guy says, well, listen. You see this lamp? I found this lamp the other day. And as you know, I like to rub things. So I gave it a rub. And a genie came out. At this moment, the bartender didn't care about the rest of the story. So he interrupts the guy. And he says, Genie, say no more, fam. And he grabs this lamp from his hands. And he goes, Genie comes out. Bada bing, bada bing. You got 3 wishes. And this man, like most people, foolishly, doesn't wish for more wishes. And I know, some genies have that rule. However, you have 3 wishes, okay? The one rule is you can't wish for more wishes. All right, I wish that wasn't a fucking rule. Wish number 1. Wish number 2, I wish for infinite wishes. I still got my number 3, but also I got fucking infinite now. All right? Everybody gets that wrong. That's a tangent. Anyways, the guy rubs it, doesn't wish for more wishes. Instead, he hates his job, so he says, I wish for $1 million. And just like that, Genie says, ba bing shada bam. And the bar just overflows, like exploding out the doors. Windows everywhere with a bunch of mallards. Okay? A bunch of ducks. Literally 1 million ducks fill this bar. Okay? Now with the pure pressure of these ducks, it cleared out pretty quick, right? These ducks are moving around. These are alive ducks, okay? They get out the door. There's enough headroom for this conversation to happen for the purpose of the joke, this next part. Then so the bartender looks at the guy who brought the stuff in, and he says, what the fuck? And the guy says, well, if you didn't interrupt me, I would have told you. I found this genie, but he's hard of hearing. Guy's flabbergasted. He's like, what the fuck good is a genie that's hard of hearing? And the guy says, I don't know, but listen, did you really think that I wish for a 12-inch pianist? You guys get it. It's a phallic joke about penis sounding like something else. Some of you are slow, I don't know. But now you know. You guys want to hear another joke? You guys want to hear another joke? Let me see the likes, come on. Talk about Yellowstone? Maybe. Let me roll that around for a joke perspective on it. But you guys want to hear some jokes? I don't see any likes. There's 122 of you. Why aren't you doing this? Am I not funny? Are you not entertained? You guys want the jokes or not? I'll give you the jokes. You're going to get them anyways. There you go. Come on. There you go. All right, here's the joke. All right, you ready for the joke? Prohibition of pot. Marijuana prohibition. That's the joke. All right, you want another one? Let's do a lightning round, guys. Keep the likes coming. Keep them coming. You want another one? All right, bet. All right, bet. Here's the joke. The guy you voted for is any better than the other guy you didn't vote for. That's the joke. Okay? You want another one? Keep smashing the like button. I need that dopamine just as much as you, okay? All right? Here's the joke. The war on terror. What kind of war do people have to go and fight one thing and reduce that thing in the world, which was the war on terror was about, right? And then 20 years later and trillions of dollars, you have created more of that thing. What bigger joke could there be? But the joke's on us, right? Because we paid for it and we gave our people for it. People lost their lives. So it's really not that funny, besides the fact that it's true. Here's another joke. Kind of a similar concept. The military-industrial complex. That's a fucking joke, okay? In the same regard, our democracy is a fucking joke. You know why? Because the military-industrial complex, which is made up of companies like Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, go to Open Secrets and look up who they donate money to. Look up the dollar amounts. Look up who they're giving it to, right? It's the exact same fucking amount of money, okay? Boeing gives the exact same amount of money. I think it might be like $60,000 for this last cycle, right? To Democrat congressional campaigns, Republican congressional campaigns, Senate campaigns, blue, red. It's literally the same fucking dollar amount, okay? So whatever side you're on, let's say you're on the left, when you give your $27 to Bernie Sanders, did you also then give $27 to Trump? I don't think so, because that doesn't make any sense. That's not how you speak politically with money, okay? That's how you speak politically with bribes, when you pay both sides the same side. So that's the fucking joke, is the military-industrial complex and our illusion of democracy and republic, okay? Because a republic requires representative government, okay? Who are they representing? It isn't you and me, okay? They're representing the military-industrial complex, the other oligarchs that you probably don't even know their names, okay? What is that? That's not a republic. That's not a democracy. That's an oligarchy, okay? That's when the rich and powerful control everything, and they're the ones being represented in our government. So that's the joke, our fucking government, okay? That's the joke, all right? You guys want some more jokes? Okay. That's the lightning round. Lightning round's done, okay? Here's a topical joke. There's people in my comments, okay? There's people in my comments when I talk about things like how all the deer are going to get hunted out if everyone's starving and that can't be your primary plan. There's people that come back to me with serious intent and complete dismissal of the people that are the ones fleeing the cities, the city dwellers. And these are country folk dismissing the city folk, saying that none of them know how to use a weapon. None of them know how to hunt. XYZ other thing, and that makes it fine. That means that there's going to be plenty of deer. First of all, fucking no, all right? Even if that was the case, there's enough people in the country that if there's no restriction on what you can hunt and there's no grocery store, that is still going to happen. Second of all, these people in the cities are going to leave, okay? 3 or 4 days, all the shit they have in the cities to live off of, the food with no utilities, they're done there, okay? They're all going to leave, millions of them, okay? And not all of them are anti-Second Amendment. First of all, not all of them have lived in the city their whole life. And even the ones that have, not all of them don't know shit about the country and how to live. A lot of people go from the city, and this is going to blow your mind if you're one of these people that say this, they go from the city on vacation once or twice a year to go hunting, okay? Another part of that makes the whole thing a joke is that literally 10-year-olds take deer every fucking day, okay? 10-year-olds go hunting. Do you think it's that complicated of a skill? Yeah, you can get really good at something and get like really proficient at it and be great at it, but you don't have to do that to depopulate the fucking deer. Okay? You don't have to be that guy, Rambo. Okay? You just have to know how to point and pull. All right? They're pretty common. You see them all fucking time. All right? It's not that complicated. It's really not. It can be, but the level that we're talking about, it doesn't need to be. All right? So if you're one of those people and you think that because you have an 870, you can go out and feed yourself when everybody else can't feed themselves and when the grocery stores are closed and the power grid's down, you're going to starve. That's the joke. Because I'm trying to explain to these people, have another plan. Because that's a shit plan. But they don't believe me. So that's the joke. Because the joke's on them, not me. Because I got a fucking bunker full of food. You understand? That's the joke. A lot of these same people also have another joke being played on them. That they're playing themselves, perhaps. They seem to think that they can take that same 870 from before, okay? And that's all they're going to need. Maybe a couple of their buddies, you know, their cousin Skeeter, whoever else, to defend what they have and to defend their, say, their ranch, right? Okay? You're trying to take 3 guys, 30 guys, doesn't matter, with hunting rifles and defend against literally millions of people coming from every city because there's no resources there, moving across the landscape, desperate and starving. And by the time they get to the people in the country, okay, by the time they get to those people, the herd's been thinned out. Natural selection has been applied. It's been, they went through the suburbs on their way to the country, okay? The people who weren't good at that and surviving that and taking from other people, they didn't make it to you. Okay, but still a very large chunk of people who know what they're doing and have literally spent the last weeks of their life being marauders, basically, are coming to your door, okay? And they're gonna be armed. There's more guns in this country than people, okay? If they don't have them now, they're gonna find them. They don't know how to use them, they're gonna figure that out. They're not that complicated, okay? They're really not to be dangerous, all right? So the sheer fact that people seem to think all they need is their 870 or whatever tool they want to use to then, that is their prep. They're going to either go take from other people and become one of these marauders. Yeah, the survival rate of these marauders is pretty fucking low as a percentage, first of all. That doesn't mean there's not still millions of them to worry about, but for any individual in that group, your odds are pretty fucking low, okay? It's a numbers game, all right? On big scale, there's going to be plenty of people to fuck with you. But if you're one of those people, you're not going to have that good of a time. It's simple stuff. But the joke is, these people think that that's enough, right? They think that what I do on this channel, helping people like actually get prepared and get prepared to hide and not deal with those people till they pass over, they think I'm the joke. I'm the one who's going to be laughing and with my post-apocalyptic fucking blockbuster, okay, in my bunker with my solar panels, all right, doing just fine while these people move over, while they're the ones losing that fight they're so eager to get into. That's the fucking thing. You can't lose a fight you don't have. That's the joke, is these people that don't seem to comprehend these two things, the hunting and the people coming, and how you're not going to defend that. Side note to that, kind of combining the two, livestock. People think if they have 500 head of cattle that they're going to be fine when stuff goes crazy and people are starving. No. You're not, okay? These same people, what do you think they're going to do, the people coming out of the cities, when they see a fucking cow? They understand, this isn't secret knowledge, that a cow is food. And it's a lot of food. That's a fucking cheeseburger, okay? In every way, basically, right? They understand this. And they're going to take that cow. And because there's fucking millions of them, and your cow needs a big area to live in, you're not going to stop them. And if you try, you're in for a bad time, but a short time. If you know what I mean. So if these things are what you're relying on, rely on something else. And I'll show you what that is. But rely on something else. If you want to have animals, have like a chicken, few chickens, some rabbits, stuff that's small, doesn't need a lot of space that you can hide. A chicken will eat fucking anything. A chicken is just a little velociraptor, okay? An omnivore velociraptor covered in feathers that's this big, right? They are vicious. They will eat other chickens. They will eat literally anything, okay? Chickens are great for doomsday prepping, all right? What's not great is a cow. What's not great is a horse, because all those things are food, you understand? Food to people who don't have food, who want your food, Okay? You're not defending that shit. I don't care if you have your little community and your small town and your 30 some guys, right? Your 30 some guys with pickup trucks with big flags in them and 870 rifles mounted. You ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit against millions of hardened people that have made it to you by now and have survived and were naturally selected to do this exact thing you're trying to defend. Okay? You won't do good unless you hide. That is my friggin' point. That's the joke. Okay? These people, try to help them, but they're so cocky. They're so arrogant. Okay? And another thing, while we're at it, being a veteran and having served in combat does not a prepper make. Just to be clear, you're going to have good skills from that, but if that's your whole bag and that's what you're riding on, very similar, a lot of times these people fall into the same group. All these 3 people I'm talking about. This isn't a war. This isn't a war. Your objectives are different, okay? You are a civilian trying to survive a fucking disaster, okay? You know, there may be an enemy, but your enemy is your fucking neighbor, okay? It's not the fucking Taliban, all right? It's different. It's different. And side note, and this is going to offend a lot of people, but we haven't won a war since 1945, okay? Just throwing that out there, all right? So all the training, all the super expensive gear you got, all the fucking shit you want to talk about my steel fucking plates when you got your issued ceramic or whatever, that's great, okay? We're not in a fucking war, all right? We're not. Not going to matter. Because over there, yeah, they took a lot of losses, but a bunch of farmers and ranchers with 50-year-old AKs are now running Afghanistan. Okay? We haven't won a war since 1945. No offense to anybody that served. I'm just saying, okay, whatever you were taught to do there is not everything you need to know to be a prepper. And if you're relying solely on that, and solely on your skills, or solely on your fancy combat gear, you're in for a bad time. Because that combat gear is going to ultimately be one of those millions of people that are coming for you stuff, okay? And then they're going to use that, which, by the way, that's going to happen probably before they get to you. Okay? Because first of all, there are plenty of veterans in the cities that have this fucking gear. You know what I mean? There's plenty of veterans in the cities that have all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of that in the suburbs, okay? Not all of them are going to live. So the people that don't already have that are going to have it by the time they get to you, okay? And then the even playing field a lot of the time, except for there's a million of them. There's a million of them, okay? There's a million of them. But yeah, so that's the joke. People that get cocky. People that get cocky with shit you shouldn't be cocky about in this situation. Because the joke is, as cocky as you may be, it's going to have the opposite result of what you think it's going to have. I answer questions sometimes. You guys are more than welcome to put topics in for me to rant about. And I'll pick some of those out. Let's see. You get out of here. Yeah, let me know. What's something else that we should rant about here? Like my energy. I appreciate it. Don't go away, guys. We're just looking for something new to talk about off the cuff. This is stuff I had prepared. Enemy is an enemy. An enemy is an enemy. Dude, my dude. My dude. My dude. No, it's not. Okay? It's not. All right? The objectives are completely different, which means your operations need to be completely different, okay? The threats are completely different, okay? You don't have, okay, imagine the military overseas. Now take away 100% of the infrastructure that supports that military. Remove in the rear with the gear, okay? How well do we do for anything more than a short time when your MREs are gone? How well do we do on a big scale, do you think? That infrastructure that's going to be gone, okay, that's a luxury that we all enjoy now. And so what we're talking about when we talk about a grid down or a collapse or anything like that, we're talking about our infrastructure going away. So anybody who's been in combat, they had nothing more than a short window of time without a backup infrastructure, that rear with the gear, right? It's different. you're not prepared for it, okay? Maybe you have a little bit of preparation, but also a lot of vets have PTSD. And I don't think PTSD is going to serve people well in that situation, unfortunately. So another point I like to make often is everyone, now, while you still can, and there are still some resources, although not enough, take care of your mental health. Your mental health is probably the most important thing. I have a lot of tools on here to help you guys with that, to master your own reality. Happy to help. However, my point remains fucking valid, that this is not a war. Your whatever, now however fancy, however many thousands of dollars you spend on your boomstick, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter, okay? How much do we spend on our gear for military now? And going back to my point before, we haven't won a war since 1945. But yet we've spent more than everybody else for a long ass time. You got a shovel hatchet. That's good. That's a good start. That's fine. Apartment collapses during the grid down. It's got to be something I can make funny, guys. Once you lose your mind, you lose everything. Exactly right. Desperate, scared people are not enemies. They're unpredictable variables in your survival. Yeah, you can look at it like that. I think that on large scales, there are some predictions you can make. You know, unprepared people. What do people like to call those groups? Colloquially. Not necessarily me calling them that. What do people call them? They call them sheep. Okay? Well, what do sheep do? Sheep herd together. You know, they form herds. Okay? That's what people also do. You can see that if you look at like the migrant caravans. Those countries still have somewhat of a rule of law. You understand? They have corruption. They got cartels and this, that, and the other thing that makes it a not so good place to live. Enough that they want to flee en masse to here. But they still have like a government and like cities that you can technically live in and be fine. We're talking about that not being a thing here. And also people there are much hardier than people here as far as like providing for themselves and living off the land. We're talking about something worse than that. But yet we can see, if we have eyes, we can see, if we have ears, we can hear that these people group up in tens of thousands already. 50,000 people. I have pictures on some of my videos of this stuff. That's what you can expect. And if you think that you offensively can defend against that without hiding being your primary strategy, you're nuts. Put simply, you're the joke in that situation, right? What level of cockiness could possibly justify that is my question. La Palma and Yellowstone. How can I make that shit funny? I guess it doesn't have to be. Fine. Let's talk about La Palma. Let's start with that. Let's talk about La Palma and science. Go with that, okay? So listen. There's good science, there's bad science, and then there's propaganda. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. All right, so with La Palma explicitly. La Palma, that would more or less be a singular world-ending event, right? The shelf breaks off, falls into the ocean, and then you're gone. Okay? Basically, there'll be a couple hours that are really unpleasant for you of sheer panic, and then you're gone, right? Here's the rub. The people that run the show, the people that run the government, the people that run the media, they don't need you worrying about that. Basically, they need you to go to work and to spend your money. And if you believe that this tsunami is coming to your town on the East Coast, you're probably not fucking going to work, and you're probably going to spend less money. Okay? So they don't want that. So they're not going to tell you if one of these big singular world-ending events are going to happen. These people also own the fucking universities. Okay? There's a big problem, right? You cannot trust what you're told in regards to these big, giant disasters, not just for that reason. There's more in play here. The other reason is we don't fucking know how volcanoes work, guys. We don't fucking know how earthquakes work. The smartest scientist, the smartest geologist, volcanologist in the world isn't going to be able to predict to you exactly when a volcano is going to fucking erupt because we don't understand them. You understand? We can understand each other, but we don't understand volcanoes. Maybe we will someday, but we don't have the predictive ability with these big giant scale things that the earth does, earthquakes and volcanoes. We do not have that ability as a species yet. We do not have the science to make these predictions. What is science? What is the scientific process? It's hypothesis, a prediction, testing, and then confirming that hypothesis, okay? We don't have the ability to make a fucking sound hypothesis that we can test and then prove. And if we have not then proved it, is my point, okay? So, like, when somebody tells you with absolute certainty that there's no chance La Palma's going to fall off into the ocean and cause a tsunami, they're full of shit. All right, this guy's got to go. La Palma, you don't know where La Palma is? Where you been? La Palma is an island in the Canary Islands, which is like by the Pillars of Hercules, like where the Mediterranean lets out, kind of, right? So, in the Atlantic Ocean. It's a big island, volcanic island. There's a big volcano in it. It's been blowing the hell up. Like, literally, the volcano has been erupting for over a month, 40-ish, 50-ish days, and it's been erupting more and more lately, okay? Well, the geology in the area lends itself to such a thing occurring where basically like a giant chunk of the island, like trillions of tons of like cubic stone, right, is going to fall off into the ocean in theory. That's the theory. It's going to fall off into the ocean, and it's just like dropping a stone in a puddle. You know those ripples? Yeah, it's going to do that, but they're going to be 100 fucking feet tall, okay? And they're going to ripple out to the edge of the pond, which is America and Canada and the Caribbean, the whole fucking state of Florida, wiped out. It's going to go over Florida. All of Florida is going to go over and on to Texas, onto the south coast, okay? If this happens, this is hypothetical because, again, I don't, and nobody does, fucking understand earthquakes or volcanoes, really, all right? So, that being the case, anybody that tells you like 100% either way at this point is full of shit. I'm telling you, it could happen. It could not happen. There's nothing preventing it in theory from happening, just that we don't fucking know, okay? That being said, it's pretty fucking concerning, all right? So there's been a number of, like, indicators, check marks, like, well, if this happens, you should be worried. If this happens, you should be worried. If this happens, you should be worried. All those fucking things have happened, okay? All those fucking things have happened. Here's another thing. Let's take away the big picture of, like, earthquakes and volcanoes with this, right? Let's look at a little bit more basic science that we actually know, okay? This is a volcanic island. Underground, the thing that holds the island together, it's all full of lava tubes, right? These lava tubes are full of cold groundwater, right? Well, now these lava tubes are being pulled back into service by the volcano. So the lava is going into the lava tubes, which are full of water. What happens, and this is your basic chemistry here, class, basic physics, what happens when you take a sealed container and you add a ton of pressure suddenly? What does that container do? What would we call that? Now, make that all over a giant island hanging over the ocean. What happens? You're gone, okay? That part makes sense. That's some science we can get behind. But so my point is that they want you to go to work and to spend money, and that the experts don't fucking know if it's going to happen, but yet they're telling you it's extremely unlikely. It's extremely unlikely, which then people then turn into it's not going to happen, by the way, which is not incorrect. But, like, literally, you can check my video. I found a PDF of talking points from the USGS that say extremely unlikely, it's like 16 times on every single one, right? When they're talking about it. They also note, and a single point in those talking points, which is like given out by the USGS for the media to then parrot, they don't tell you why they say it's extremely unlikely, just that it is. Trust us, right? So then I did digging. I did another stream where I dug into this. I had to go to like 3 links till I found something that gave even an inkling of a scientific reason why. And it was trash, guys. It was absolute trash. Like, follow the fucking links in these things. First of all, the article I read on Reuters, okay, one of the premier media companies in the world, right? Reuters.com about it. All the citations which they put in, like the little blue links to cite something that they're claiming about it being unlikely. Yeah, I started clicking through those. They were fucking Facebook pages, Facebook posts, and Twitter posts. Okay? At least 9 out of 10 of them were fucking on Twitter. All right? If you're Reuters and you're talking about a scientific issue involving geology and millions of people's lives and half the fucking country falling apart, why the fuck are you using Twitter to back up your claims? Okay? And then you go to the fucking Twitter, and then that guy's just talking about something somebody else said. Okay? So then you gotta find them. And then, what did they actually say? What did they actually say? Can I find that out? Let me do a ton of work to figure this out. Why is it so unlikely? You keep saying it, why is it so unlikely? All right, what's their main argument? The best argument I can find that they put forth is fucking trash. Okay? It's just fucking trash. All right? They say that on the seafloor near La Palma, the only evidence they see are smaller scale landslides and collapses, right? Things that might cause a little wave, but there's nothing like that big. That's not fucking scientific, okay? That's what is the entropic principle? Just because it hasn't happened in that exact spot before doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Those two things do not mean the same thing, okay? If it had already happened and there was a big chunk on the seafloor, then there wouldn't be a big chunk on the island to then fall off. You understand? That's why it doesn't make any logical sense. However, if you literally leave that one little spot in the world and go to a different volcanic island, it has happened before. It happened in the Pacific Ocean 10,000 years ago. A volcanic island broke off very similarly and caused a massive tsunami to hit the coast of Australia. All the evidence, all geologists agree that happened. But for some reason, that's not the comparison we make. We look at the small chunks, which really, to me, honestly, it's fucking gaslighting, because if small chunks have fallen off already, fucking big chunks can fall off. It's like going to Antarctica and finding the smallest iceberg you can see and saying, there'll never be a bigger iceberg than this. It doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't fucking make sense. Okay? But that's the evidence for their extremely unlikely claims that they say 15 times per article. Okay? And after like an hour of figuring this shit out and researching it to find that evidence, it's trash. Okay? It's absolutely fucking trash. So, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I certainly know that these people, the media companies, the USGS, and the scientists saying that it's extremely unlikely, also don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But at least I'm cognizant and mindful enough to admit that, and not cocky enough to say that I know for sure it's going to happen, or for sure it's not going to happen, or even extremely unlikely. All right? It's basically a toss-up because we're fucking stupid monkeys. We don't know anything, right? We try to, but we can't just assume we understand everything in the world. So that is La Palma. Yellowstone. You just want to hear about that. So that's kind of the same thing, first of all. But there's every motivation in the world to not tell you if it's going to blow. There is. I mean, like, what are you going to do about it? Are we just going to all stop going to work? Is the country just done whenever we figure out it's probably going to blow? Are we cool with that? Is the government cool with that? Are the elite cool with that? No, they still got to finish building their fucking bunkers that they're building right now. So instead, it's just very unlikely. It's very unlikely. Very unlikely. Anytime anyone tells you that something is very unlikely, you should probably dig a little bit into it. If they don't also tell you why, that's a good sign. Now, Yellowstone, again, yes, I think we would see warning signs more so than what we've seen. Death, I'm not getting into that one. Don't know enough about it. But anyways, the warning signs that we would see aren't quite there right now for Yellowstone, I believe. I think that it could literally happen at any time and surprise us. But to say that it's not going to happen within our lifetime is literally based on nothing. Like the historical record of the times it's exploded before has been fairly periodic with a big, gray area wiggle room. We're beyond that, though. Okay, we're overdue, right? Just because we don't like things to happen, nature doesn't give a fuck what we like. It doesn't care about our feelings. It just does things. Asteroids can just smack into us, all right? The dinosaurs didn't like the fact that they got hit by an asteroid, but they still did, okay? That is us, right? We don't have power over this. We don't control this, and we don't fucking know about it, so maybe we should stop acting like we do. That's the joke, okay? Yellowstone's the same kind of thing. If you live near Yellowstone, you're fucked. If you're really worried about it, move now. Don't wait for that warning to come, because you ain't getting out, all right? If you live pretty much anywhere else in the world, you might be fucked. I personally think, with the preps I have, I could survive where I live. It'd be cold. It'd be dark, provided that it doesn't cause the entire ecology to collapse, which I don't think it will. I think it will come back. I'll be okay. But I think I can ride out the worst part of it in here. Great Reset. I don't have enough on it to form a full opinion right now. The government collapse resulting in social failure. Yeah, it is. I agree. So like all this fun stuff to think about, like these big scale disasters, they might happen, right? But other things are definitely gonna fucking happen that we should probably be preparing for, like the economy fucking collapsing and the supply chain fucking collapsing, right? And the impacts therein on your life. However bad it gets, if it gets to full collapse or just kind of like where we are now or gets worse than where we are now, you understand, people are getting fucked up right now, right? I know a ton of people who can't get their fucking prescription meds right now. Right now, today, they're waiting 3 weeks to get their meds. You know how controlled substances work? If you've ever had ADHD, you get your 30 or 90-day supply, whichever it is, and then you can't fill it until day fucking 30, okay? So then you go, you take your script, you go to the place, you say, hey, I need this. I say, okay, that's going to be 3 or 4 weeks, maybe longer. If it's a controlled substance, it's because it's addictive. So you're addicted to this substance you're not going to have for a fucking month, okay? Also, if it's a medication at all, you probably fucking need that for one thing or another. If it's mental health, if it is a controlled substance, what have you, you need that. You're not going to be able to suddenly cut off and go a month before you get more. You can't do that. But there's not enough because we can't get the fucking ingredients. And we can't move stuff around this fucking country anymore. All right? So, all these people can't get their mental health meds, can't get their blood pressure meds, can't get their asthma inhalers for their kids, can't get anything. Like, if you get it, good for you. A lot of people can't, is the thing now. More so than ever before, but it's going to keep getting worse. And it's probably going to affect you at some point, okay? It's probably going to affect you. And by the fucking way, everybody that says all I do is encourage people to panic buy, and that's the reason we're having these fucking problems. You can't fucking panic buy prescription medications. You can't do it. So why the fuck are we having the same problem with prescription medications and we're not having that? Like, how could that be panic buying? Maybe there's a common cause between the thing that's causing the shortage of prescription medications and everything else, the everything shortage. Maybe that's more likely than the fucking gaslighting narrative you've gotten from the media that the whole reason is our fault for panic buying. It's not, okay? When you're a prepper, you go to the store, instead of buying this, you fucking buy this, okay? You get a little bit extra, and you do it across multiple fucking categories, right? You do it across multiple categories, so you're not like cleaning out the whole fucking shelf, okay? You're getting a little bit extra because you're smart enough to know that people are gonna fucking let you down. And this ain't gonna be there for you next time, or it's gonna be twice the fucking price or more. You know that, so you do that. That is not panicking, that is making a rational decision with your money, okay? But so I'll ask you again, because honestly, it's a really good fucking point. If panic buying is the reason for the shortage, why the fuck is there such a shortage on prescription medications that you cannot fucking panic buy? Why? Can anybody answer me that? Maybe it's because panic buying's not the fucking problem, it's a symptom. It's a fucking symptom. And it's damn near non-existent relative to the normal buying of everybody else. People that actually are prepping. Preppers don't fucking panic buy because we know we got limited money and we need a wide variety of things. So we're mixing up. We're buying a little bit of everything, right? We're getting prepared for a little bit of everything, okay? I'll keep fucking saying it. If it's panic buying, why the fuck are prescription medications running out? Ask yourself that if you have any doubt that there's something bigger going on here than just people's buying habits, okay? It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's going to keep getting more fucked up. Every time I hear a fucking number of when any one of these individual things gets better, okay, it ends in 2024 is what they say, basically, okay? The problem with that is how the fuck do we get from here in 2021 to 2024, all the while where things are barely held together right this second, we have 2 3 years for it to get worse. How the fuck are we going to do that? How the fuck are you going to go without your fucking Wellbutrin? You know what I mean? What are people going to do when they're suddenly ripped off their psych meds? What do people do in those situations, okay? they hurt themselves or they hurt other people a lot of the times. That's going to have consequences. This shit has consequences. Outside of just when you can't get your stuff, when the guy next door to you can't, you might have a problem too. Okay? But it's not just the medicines. It's literally fucking everything. Okay? Literally, look around you right now. Look around your room, your space, whatever. Pick anything out. That thing got to you on a fucking semi-truck one way or another. You went to the store? Okay, it came to the store on a semi-truck. Oh, you went to the factory. Okay, well, the parts to make it went to the factory on a semi-truck. Okay? Literally everything, at some point in time, unless you went out and picked it off a tree in your backyard, came on a fucking semi-truck. Okay? What's about to happen? What's about to happen? At least 30% of our truckers are going to no longer be truckers around New Year's. You understand? At least 30%. And that's one out of all of the industries we have. One industry that's already incredibly tight, okay? How the fuck are we going to survive that when we can't get stuff from A to B now? How the fuck are we going to survive that when, as of right now, crops are fucking rotting in our fields and in our food warehouses because it's too expensive to transport them to the next place? It's too expensive to fucking harvest them, okay? Because margins on farms are fucking small. That's why the government subsidizes them, okay? They cannot afford the 3 times price of fertilizer. They can't afford the 5 times price of shipping, okay? It doesn't make business sense to sell your fucking food then. It makes business sense to let it rot and then write it off, okay? What are we gonna do? What the fuck are we gonna do as a country? How the fuck can you be a person in the world with eyes and ears that can see and hear and then gaslight people as if everything's fucking fine and it's gonna be fucking fine and that this is normal? How the fuck are you a real person is my question. Like, how do you go to the grocery store and not see and not feel? Like, maybe guys, maybe I'm something of an empath and I can just kind of pick up on the energy around me or something like that. But when I go to the store, it's a fucking awful. It's an awful experience. And it's not like I'm scared or panicking. It's just dread. Because, like, the problem is right fucking in front of you. You know what I mean? And it's clear to see. And then it's such, like, I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance, but it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre because everybody else is just acting like everything's fine. But what's more bizarre is so am I. Because we're conditioned to do so, right? So are you when you go to these places. Is everybody else feeling the same thing but putting on the same act? I don't know. You tell me. However, if they're not, they fucking should be concerned. We're in for a bad time, guys. Okay? People are literally getting letters from their utility companies, gas, electric, saying, hey, do you guys have anybody in your house that you know is like sick, that needs like this medical equipment that takes electricity? Because remember how we fucked you last year and then billed you like $1 million for the electricity we can give you? That's gonna happen again. So you might want to get them out of there because they're gonna fucking die if they don't get this electricity we're not gonna send. Yeah. So then later they can say, well, we sent you a letter when your grandma dies. We sent you a letter about it ahead of time. Guys, we've had a fucking year to fix whatever bullshit needed fixing to stop our power from fucking going out when it fucking drizzles a little bit. All right? What have we been doing? What the fuck have we been doing? Okay? It's not just Texas either. Okay? We've had a shortage of technicians, both at the lineman level and at the substation level, at the power plant level. We've had a shortage of those. We've had a shortage of the factories that make parts for these. We've had a shortage of labor and parts, raw materials across the board. And these things that keep our power grid running are already in short supply because all the expensive shit, the transformers, they're made to order 18 to 24 months, okay? Because they're millions of dollars. So they don't keep them on the shelf because it's bad for accounting. We're so fucking fucked this winter, guys. I am telling you now. Fucking screen record me right now. We are fucked in one way or another. As a country, we are fucked into January. Will it all be complete total collapse? I don't know. But you're not going to have a good time. I'll tell you that. You're not going to have a good time. You can make that time better by getting prepared. That's your option. It's get prepared or have the worst time. Maybe have an okay time if you get prepared for it, if you're able to. You know what I mean? You are running out of time. It is fucking November. You know what's in 2 months from now? Fucking January. Are you ready today? Because you should have been ready yesterday. So if you haven't already, I highly, highly encourage you to tap that follow button. And when we're done here, please binge my videos. They're fucking TikToks. At most, they're 3 minutes long. It ain't gonna take you that much time, and it's probably gonna fucking save your life. Don't even fucking watch them if you don't want to. But if it kind of seems like low-key might be useful, hit that ... hit the save to your phone, and then when you don't have fucking internet because you didn't listen, and like the whole thing fell apart and you're surprised by it, you can think, hey, let me look at my camera roll. I have a fucking free survival guide from this guy Luke that's helping me out, the Prep Poppy. I wish I would have listened to him, but maybe I can save myself now. Go ahead and do that when we're done here. Hit the follow. Do all that fun stuff because I'm here to help. That's all I do here. That's all I do here. It's not just jokes. In fact, the jokes are kind of a new thing, to be honest with you. This is my second stand-up on live ever. And just giving it a try. Gonna see how it goes. Last time I did it, I wanted to get a recording for YouTube so people can watch it. Well, it got messed up in the TikToks. It said the technical error, the recording's unavailable. So hopefully we're gonna get this one on the YouTubes, and it'll be good for everybody. Everybody thinks you're losing your mind because you're trying to prep. Dude, fucking exactly. Like, how do we have these conversations with people? Like, and like, who do you write off? Like, who do you, that you love, but you also know that they're not going to fucking listen to you and they think you're crazy about this stuff? How do you write those people off and then focus on the ones that maybe you can convince? Okay? We just had to have, my wife and I just had this conversation today, actually. You know, talking about, she wanted to know kind of some things that we should start thinking about and stuff. And I said, well, honestly, we're pretty prepared, but we need to start looking at some other people. Like my parents have been kind of stocking up, you know, taking some advice, and they've been doing that for a while. Her parents, we decided were just a fucking write-off because they're not going to listen. Her sister, who has our niece, and her husband, they're on the fence. But we think we can convince them. Because as of right now, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a prepper, but to have people you love that aren't preppers? What does that mean? It means whatever you have, you're either going to have to share with them or let them fucking starve. That's your choices. That's your choices, right? I'm not doing a guest request right now. It's stand-up. It doesn't work for that. Those are your choices, right? Those are shit choices. Those are shit choices. So all you can do is pick and choose. Who do I think... When you scream more, you get more viewers. Fucking hell, whatever we got to do. Okay? Anyways, whoever you think you cannot convince, you're going to have to write them off. Okay? And what does that mean? You got to decide that. Are you going to give them some of your limited food when they're starving? Or are you going to lock the door and walk away? You decide that based on how much you like that person. And I encourage you, I plead and implore you, when you make these decisions, please do it based on how much you actually like that person and not your obligation. Like, if your parents were pieces of crap and like beat the crap out of you and you don't actually like them, but you feel like you have to take care of them because they're your parents, you don't. Okay? You don't. All right? You can choose for this context, who your family is. Okay? And if they can't make their own decisions, I feel like you're already being pretty generous by offering to help them. So maybe just do it to the people you like. All right? It's like her sister and our niece, worst case scenario, we're fucking taking care of them. But that's not what we want. So I sent her, I said, listen, it won't mean as much coming from me. It's your sister. You need to start working on her. A little bit harder, working her. When the time's right, if she needs help, I'll absolutely help her. But that's going to be your domain, okay? You can convince her. I think she's on the fence. I think we can get her there, right? Your parents, no. Your mom's just going to shut down. She ain't going to be having it. And then your dad's probably just not going to care. So we're not really going to have that conversation. What we do in your family, it's different from everybody, but what we do in her family is no matter what's going on, everything's fine. That's how you do it, okay? Whoever just died in the family, if there's a family event, you go to it, and everything's fine. Yeah, you don't have feelings, okay? That's how that family is, right? That's fine. That was how I was raised, but I'm able to play the part when that's because, like, it's just I've tried to work on people. It doesn't have good results. People get set in their ways. But the point is, it's difficult. It's always going to be difficult to have these kind of conversations. It really comes down to how much do you like this person, okay? Because you can love somebody and not fucking like them, right? Sure, you all know what that's like, okay? That being said, how much are you willing to give up for that emotion? that mandatory, obligated love that you feel? Are you willing to give up the food for your child that you actually chose to have and that you love by choice? You know what I mean? Are you going to do that? Because it's not like an altruistic thing where like it doesn't hurt you or take something away from somebody else you care about. Whenever you give somebody who didn't get prepared, they're a family or not, a can of your food, you're not just giving them a can of your food, you're giving them a can of your kid's food and your wife's food or your husband's food or whatever, right? So you're making that decision for a group of people to help somebody who thought you were fucking crazy. So that's all something to think about. Also, make sure those feelings are reciprocated if you're doing that. Because if you give them one can of food to get them by, and those feelings aren't as reciprocated, they're going to do things to get the rest of that food that they know you have. Because here's the thing about charity in general, in those situations, once you give somebody something, it tells them a whole lot. It tells them you have enough to give some away. Okay? And that can of food you gave them isn't going to last them very long. And also, they got fucking friends. They got friends. So they're going to take that can, they're going to go back to their friends and say, hey guys, I found this compound. This guy, he gave me a can of beans. I think he's got a lot more. And then they're all fucking starving. So maybe they'll fight over that can of beans. And then they'll go. And then it'll be nighttime. And they'll scout everything out. They'll see where you moved to, what you got going on, what kind of fences you got, okay? They're going to come back. They're going to sneak in and try to steal. They're going to hit you hard. They're going to do something because they know that's where the food is. What do any animal, including humans, do when they're hungry? They go where the food is, okay? That's something you should be concerned about. 350 so far. That's another topic. I mean, yeah, your family, that's always going to be rough, but just pick and choose. Pick and choose your battles. Who do you think you have the best chance of convincing? And who you like the most, and that's who you spend most of your time trying to convince and get prepared. Okay? I'm sure you can find one of my videos that may be able to convince people. Send them. They're shareable. This is the smartest man in the world. Yeah, Joe Rogan's got nothing on me, guys. First of fucking all. All right? And I'm not nearly as problematic, okay? I love Joe Rogan sometimes, but I think he just does stuff for hype and media stuff a lot of times, and it gets him in trouble. But what's another topic? Team Luke. There you go. Let's get another topic. Room, forget the hat. Guys, listen. Again, a lot of this routine has come back to the comments people leave me on my TikTok, because that's just a beautiful source of comedy fucking gold. And the comedy gold is not what they said, it's that these people actually fucking think this stuff, and they think that like they're somehow smart or better for having said it. All right? So like, people make fun of me in these videos in my shelter, in my bunker, because I have this stuff, right? This foil on the ceiling. First of all, this is bubble metallic, both sides, basically like a Mylar, like this, insulation. This is just Mylar because I ran out of this, but this will also do the job. This is a lot of things for me. What it doesn't do is stop the government from reading my mind, okay? I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. I just fucking understand science and fucking potential threats and what their capabilities are, okay? First of all, an EMP is a very real threat to every single one of us. An electromagnetic pulse attack or a solar flare. These are scientifically and strategically, however you want to look at it, very real things that could fucking happen. We just got hit with a whopper of a solar flare that like blocked out radio in South America a couple days ago, guys. And it glanced us. If it would have hit us straight on, it would have been a lot worse. And it wasn't even the most powerful it could be. And like literally, it happened like 150 years ago. The Carrington event, where it fried all the fucking telegraph lines, right? These are real things that are not fucking conspiracies, okay? EMPs, solar flares, what have you. This helps protect all my shit, okay? It protects my fucking solar generators and my solar panels and my wind turbine, my radios. All my shit is protected somewhat by this and other things because redundancy. This is better than not having it, even if it doesn't work, okay? Because we don't understand EMP that well. Again, we don't understand science all the time. It's more than likely to work in conjunction with the other things I have going on, right? So that's part of it, is the EMP threat. That's probably why I put it up in the first place. A lot of bonuses though, guys, okay? Bonus, thermal imaging is a thing that fucking exists, okay? And especially after everything falls apart, whether or not it's like the military or police, people can get their hands on a fucking good pair of thermal imagers, right? And if they did that, and you were hiding somewhere like this, without this, the whole thing might not as well exist. You might as well just be in a hole they could look into, right? They could see you, they could see the temperature in the room, they could see your body heat, they could see all of that, okay? For me, this room doesn't fucking exist on thermal imaging, okay? It's shielded from thermal imaging, okay? Another thing, it's also just literally fucking insulation, all right? Because if there's grids down and your furnace don't work, whatever, even though it's like all underground, except for this, the weakest point is the roof. Insulation helps. Sound insulation helps. So, all of that to say, and more, it serves a fucking smart purpose. And so when people make jokes, like some people say stuff in goodwill, and that's perfectly fine, it's funny, whatever. But when people like make an attack, right, that's the difference. People make an attack on me for stuff like this because of their pure ignorance of all the smart shit that I know that apparently they don't as to why I should do this in my prepping room. That says way more about them than me, guys. Way fucking more, okay? And that's just one goddamn example, okay? Here's another example. I don't fucking understand this. I get this all the fucking time from the trolls, right? They say that I'm in my mom's fucking basement. The fuck are you basing that on, okay? I'm a damn near 30-year-old man with a fucking conventional mortgage. Not even first-time home buyers, guys. Conventional mortgage. 20% down. I just made my mortgage payment, which by the way is $825 because I'm fucking smart and I have acreage, okay, and a nice ass house. $825 a month. I paid that, but I also added $1,000 additional principal payment, okay? That was a low amount for me to do that because I'm trying to fucking pay off my goddamn house. So I got a house where the mortgage payment was affordable. My house was like $150,000 for acreage, okay? A ton of square footage. I want to say like more than 3,000. And this, I built some of this, but I bought the house because I could do this and I had the vision, right? I have a fucking mortgage. My mom has a basement that I've never lived in. I don't go there hardly ever, okay? This is not that. But why are you insinuating that, like, what gives you that idea? Is it because I'm a fat guy in a basement? Like, where is the train of logic in that? And also, where is that fucking funny? Because it's just like saying something that just doesn't even make sense. Like, if you're somebody who thinks that's funny, maybe you haven't seen it 10,000 times like I have, okay? However, just so everybody fucking knows, I have a goddamn mortgage. And the people that leave those comments about this being my mom's basement, more than likely, they're in their goddamn mom's basement. And they don't have a fucking mortgage. And if they do, they probably overpaid for it. And they have less land than me in a less ideal location, okay? Bottom line. Or maybe, more than likely, they probably fucking rent. Because most people do these days, right? So, perhaps, people should put up or shut up. Because I got fucking receipts. Prep Poppy always comes to you with receipts, okay? Hey, fucking exactly, guys. Like, it's not like people make fat jokes to me all the time, okay? I don't care, all right? I am body positive, all right? I feel good. Sometimes I think I look good, at least from the top up. You know, I get these little tufts going, you know, with the hat, and I look a little sultry, you know? Like, I think that's okay. However, I don't give two shits that I'm fat, because first of all, life is goddamn short, and I like to eat, okay? First of all, again, another first of all, I'm a fucking vegetarian, by the way. I've been a vegetarian for 15 fucking years. Despite what I may look like to you, I'm not fucking malnourished, am I? Because those same peoples are the ones that make fun of people for being vegetarians. Well, guess who's laughing now that meat's fucking 10 times in price? It's me, because all my prepping food is vegetarian, and I know how to survive very fucking well without eating meat, right? That being said, I would if I had to survive, but I haven't had to, so I have not done so because I like fucking animals, okay? I also like the environment. But the point is, who's laughing now? My food's way more affordable. My rabbit food, as people like to call it, it's good. And now guess who's coming to me? Guess who's coming to me and saying, Prep Poppy, please. How do I live without eating meat for every single fucking meal of my day? How do I do it, Prep Poppy? There's no protein. There's no protein anywhere. Yes, there is. There's protein fucking everywhere, okay? Leafy fucking vegetables, beans, and rice. Dairy, if you can get that. Dairy's cheaper than the meat because it keeps coming out of the cow. You don't have to kill the cow. All right? Protein is fucking everywhere. All right? Why have you spent your life not knowing that? Is that because big meat got in your head? I don't fucking know. Listen, guys, the rest of the fucking world, they eat meat with like one fucking meal a day. Most of the world. Like in Europe and stuff, they have meat once a day. Like, is that foreign to you? Like, it literally is foreign, but like, is that like not possible? That's what they've always done in these other places, okay? Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you about vegetable protein powder. I'm here to teach you about textured vegetable protein, which is basically with some seasoning, fucking shelf-stable ground beef, and cheaper at this rate. I'm here to teach you guys. Where was I going with this? What was I talking about before I was a vegetarian? Oh, that's what I was talking about. It's the same people saying all these things about me, right? The same people. The Mom's Basement, the fat jokes, vegetarian jokes that they know about that. Wait, are there cutting coming in right now? About a week gluten. Different countries will eat more meat, but like by and large, meat is less common. In different areas that have different plant resources available, their culture evolved to work with what was there. Okay, that's basically the case. If you likes me, if you likes me, you'll come to you. You'll hunt. My guy, you missed the first part of the show. Do I need to do it again? I'll do it again. Listen. Depending on what's going on, if it's not just you that's hungry, if literally everyone is going hungry, you're not going to be hunting besides wasting your time and risking your life, okay? Because the deer are going to get gone quick, all right? Let me guess. While you're typing your comment back, let me guess. You're going to say that, no, those people don't know how to hunt that are coming out of the cities. They can't take care of them. No. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Literally, a fucking 10-year-old can go out and take a deer. Right now. Happens every day. It's not complicated. You can get really good at it and put a lot of time and effort and skill, which a lot of people do. But you don't need to do that for all the deer to get got. You just need to point and remove the deer from life, basically. Yeah, they're going to miss, but there's fucking millions of them. Okay? They're going to get there. Self-defense when you can't afford a blank, I can't say. I have a video on my YouTube about one that I got for $90. It's High Point, but I would recommend you look at that brand. Look at those YouTube videos for some budget stuff. You don't have to break the bank. Anything's better than nothing. But at that point, if we're talking about $90, $100, there's not much that's cheaper that's going to do you much good. You know, here's a fun fact. A certain percent of people are just completely fucking immune to pepper spray. Like, ask some prison guards, a certain percentage of inmates will be immune to pepper spray. It's not even like they're on drugs or something. They're just immune to it for whatever reason. It doesn't bother them. Those keep coming. So that's not a great idea. If you are getting that, another thing to think about is the small bottles. I don't know if I have one here or not. I probably couldn't show it anyways. The small bottles, like the cheap ones you get that are like that big, okay? However big it is how much aerosol is behind it, meaning how far it's going to travel, okay? What you really want to get, if you're getting something in that category, is going to be a bear mace. But, again, it's not the best thing in the world, okay? Yep, see, there you go. Correctional officer, you couldn't count on it. Yeah, you can find them. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long the fuel for them, to use that word, is going to be available for you, but you can find them right now. You seem nervous, it's going to hit the fan. Nervous isn't the right word. Disappointed. Sad. For other people. You don't have to be scared if you're prepared. And I'm fucking prepared, guys. I'm fucking prepared. I've put in the work, okay? I'm working on my post-apocalyptic blockbuster. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you're sitting on this fucking TV stand I built in my bunker. It fucking swivels, and it looks like shit, but it fucking works, okay? And then behind all that is the fucking blockbuster, right? Look at this. Now this today, add to the blockbuster. All of Doctor Who at the end of the world. What more could you ask for, okay? Fucking Sliders. The whole series. When was the last time you watched Sliders? It's been a long time. Go back to it. If you can deal with the aspect ratio. Okay? I have a fucking PlayStation right here. Original PlayStation preloaded right here for my bunker. Okay? All the classic games on it. I have every fucking Xbox 360 game ever made. Alright? But also, I have a year's worth of food or more. And I have a secure, hidden space. I'm not that worried. I'm gonna be chill even when the Netflix go out. I'm gonna be chill. I got power out the ass. I have 3 Jackeries, 2 small, 1 big, a ton of solar panels, a fucking wind turbine. I got propane out the ass. Got propane and gasoline generators. I got fucking everything I need, more or less. So I'm not scared of fucking anything. And you don't have to be either, by the way. As scary as the world is right now, provided you had the resources, and honestly, the sooner you would have done this, the more of your limited resources could have been put into it, the better off you'd be. But if you have the resources, and that's only a small percentage of you, and if you haven't done this, fucking get ready, is all I can tell you. From the bottom of my soul, and maybe if you've stuck around, you've picked up on the fact that I know a thing or two. From the bottom of my soul, there's things you need to get ready for right now. Do not wait. Honestly, get off the fucking stream and go to the store if you've been thinking about it, okay? It's fucking November, guys. We're getting there. But location is main key of preps. Well, whatever your location is, it needs to be hidden, okay? You know nothing. Yeah, see, that's the kind of cockiness, guy, that's just not going to do you well. Like, but also get out of here. Get your soul ready. Wish I had the bunker want so bad. Ventilation. What am I ventilating in that situation? People don't understand things. Okay? So let's talk about, this would be a good topic for the stand-up purposes, for the rant purposes, for the Joe Rogan experience, the Prep Poppy experience, whatever you want to call it. Nuclear weapons. You guys like the Fallout series? Follow me on Twitch. We're going to be doing some Fallout at some point. But please stand by. You know what I mean? Please stand by. I'm going to tell you about nukes. Okay? First of all, what are you worried about with the nuke? What are you worried about? Depends on where you live, right? Steady there. Depends on where you live, right? If you live in a city, major city, you're worried about being vaporized. Don't live in a city is the way to prevent that. If you live outside of a city, depending on how close you are, what do you have to worry about? You have to worry about fallout. Okay? Now, before I tell you what it is, I want you to ask yourself and picture in your mind, what is nuclear fallout? Think about what is it, how it works, how do you worry about it, how do you prevent about it. Just give yourself a thought exercise for 2 seconds, and I'm going to tell you the right answer, okay? You ready? You thinking about it? Okay. I'm guessing a large chunk of you are imagining this like wave of energy coming out of the ground zero and just moving for miles and coming to your house or whatever, and it's invisible and you don't even know what's happening. That's not it. That's not it, guys. You don't have to worry about that. What it is literal dust and water, more or less. What is that dust and water? Well, friends, it is your friends, okay? It's people, it's cars, it's trucks, it's buildings, it's cats and dogs. Anything that's in that ground zero is vaporized into dust, in the dirt beneath their feet, right? So all this stuff becomes dust, all the water evaporates, goes up in the clouds, comes over, the wind moves it, and then it rains down, okay? More or less, from the blast zone, whichever way the wind's blowing, it's going to make a cone of fallout away from that point, right? Which means if that's like a chunk of a pie, you only got to worry if you're in that chunk of a pie, first of all. But even then, as long as you're not like within, let's say, an hour drive of that city, you really don't got to worry that much if you do these next few things. First, do you have a roll of plastic in your house? Or just like a ton of garbage bags or a ton of shower curtains or something? You know, you should probably get those. Link in my bio. However, if you don't have those, you're in for a bad time. You need to seal up your house. Once you see the blast within range of you has taken place, you have fucking time. Because it's a long process, up to like a day or whatever, a couple days before that fallout's going to get to you. And and fall on you, but it's literal dust that you can see. Okay? Dust and rain. So don't trust the rain right after a nuclear bomb goes off, by the way. Don't trust it, because that is the fallout more than likely. It doesn't have to be, but it more than likely is. But anyway, so you want to seal up all your doors and windows, your vents and stuff, anywhere where like dust can get in. You can't have you cannot have the dust come in. You cannot breathe in the dust. You cannot eat the dust. You cannot put the dust in your body in any way. If you don't do that through wearing a mask, through sealing everything up, getting into your most interior room and having multiple layers of sealed up, air will still get through. Air will filter through your house just fine. However, the dust mostly won't. Okay? That's the thinking. So you don't need like a big ventilation system to prevent like a nuclear war. And if you do, you're in a bunker at ground zero, basically, right? So the point is, it's just about how you're set up to seal things off reasonably. Just reasonably, guys. You don't have to be 100%. Nothing in life is all or nothing. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. But yet all you people, and not necessarily you people, but like people say it has to be, or else you're not interested. It's like, you want $100. You would like to have $100. And I say, well, I don't got that. Here's $10. You're like, no, I don't want your $10. Like, this is charity we're talking about. It's not like an exchange for something. I don't want your $10. I want 100. So goodbye. That's what people say about like 9 out of 10 things in life right now. Instead of just having a little bit better, they're not okay with it unless it's all the way better. And that's a big problem. But so with Fallout, you can get it a whole lot better with just the sealing things up. You don't need like a fancy super bunker for that, right? You don't need like a governmental bunker. So the other part of that is the time period. Did you think of a time period of when you're in danger? When I told you to think about this earlier? Did you think about that? It's not as long as you think. It's not nearly as long as you think. The half-life, and in chemistry, a half-life for radiation purposes, it's half as radioactive, half as deadly every 2 weeks for the fallout dust. Only every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks afterwards, it's half as deadly. 2 weeks after that, it's half as deadly as that. So it's a quarter deadly, if you remember our fractions. 2 weeks after that, it's an eighth deadly, because it's half as deadly as a quarter deadly, right? And so on and so forth. So 2 months later, it's 1/16th as deadly as day one that it fell. You understand? So can you survive in your sealed environment for 2 months? That sounds fucking easy to me. I'm prepared for way longer than that. All right? I have all the plastic. I have all the everything I need to do that. I have fucking gas masks. I have it handy. Got potassium iodide, radiation pills. I have a fucking Geiger counter right here. You know what I mean? Fucking Geiger counter. You want one of these? It's less than $100. Why don't you have? This is the only way you're gonna know if it's safe to go outside after that. Literally, a Geiger counter is the only way you're gonna know for sure that you're not poisoning yourself with radiation when you go outside. Okay? That's the only way you're gonna know. This is less than $100. Here's the guide. I know it's backwards, but if you want to screenshot and flip it, up to 50 is cool. After that, you're not cool. Okay? If you want to remember that. Less than $100. Link in my bio for this exact same thing. Okay? There's nicer ones if you want to get more expensive, but have something. How are you going to know? How are you going to know? Maybe you're not worried about nuclear war. Okay? Maybe you don't think it's happened. Maybe you believe in mutually assured destruction and that nobody's going to have a nuclear war. Maybe that's where you're at with it. Okay? That's cool. That's a cool story, bro. However, that's not the whole picture. Okay? Mutually assured destruction doesn't really matter once things are already fucking destroyed. Right? What did we talk about earlier? What have we been talking about this whole time? The collapse of this fragile house of cards that we've been experiencing lately, right? What happens, hypothetically, think about this. America has economic collapse, societal collapse, grid down, whatever, chaos. There's no more like America. It's just like the place and the people, right? At that point, nobody's looking after our arsenal of these things, of these devices, right? The thousands of them we have. What happens at that point? A few things could happen. Let me tell you first what other people would worry about. The fact that whatever bad actor, Delta 8 gummy, whatever bad actor can get their hands on these devices or the material therein, which also can be found, cesium can be found at hospitals, and used for similar purposes I can't tell you about. However, people get their hands on these and then do things that would damage this country that may still be surviving. One of the other global superpowers, right? So, that's a risk. They can also damage you. You know, little regional conflicts spring up. Somebody makes a dirty dancing, if you know what I mean, with some of this stuff. That's a problem for you. You're going to need to deal with stuff like this. Even though it's not mutually assured destruction anymore, is it? Other side of that, I'm going to say again, it's mainly America. Let's just say there's any other existing superpower still kind of holding together. And everything tells me that one in particular, that I can't mention on here, is more likely to hold it together than us. Because it may be all part of a plan for them. But regardless, reasonably, not even like big, evil, conspiracy, nothing like that. They're reasonable people. Reasonably, because the same thing we would do, if a country destabilizes and there's like thousands of nuclear bombs in that country, what do? You bring on some freedom. Basically, you go in there. Well, you either go in there and extract these devices, which we're talking about thousands in America. It's going to take up some time. They're basically just going to colonize at that point. Or you take the easy way out, because you can just sit at home on your couch over there and remove that threat from the equation of the world with no retaliation, because in this scenario, we've already fallen apart. Oh, but Prep Poppy, we have nuclear submarines. Okay, cool story, bro. Cool fucking story, all right? America falls apart. How many weeks after the collapse of the U.S. government, the U.S. economy, are those sailors still being in the Navy on these submarines and not pulling up somewhere or going to find their family who's getting cluster bombed by whatever, right? They're going home at that point, or they're not. But they're not going to be around forever, even though the power from the nuclear submarine can last forever. Their food's not. They're not doing this. Their will to do it's not going to stick around forever. Even if that's a month after it collapses, however long, nobody's coming to fucking save you with all of this stuff, including the nuclear submarines, okay? And again, I don't want to get political. I don't get religious here. But a little bit. Only if I piss everybody off. That's kind of my rule. But however, nobody's coming to save you also includes, and this is controversial, whatever deity you may worship. Because we use the Christian God as an example. In the Bible, pretty much in all of human existence, the Lord gives you the tools to provide for yourself and the free will to decide to do so. I believe, not me being religious, but I believe that is the narrative of that particular faith. And honestly, most faiths is that the Lord provides you with the tools, the ability, and the free will to take care of yourself and to live a full and rich, fulfilling life, right? So, if you do not do prepping and just ignore the bad things going on, the threats to you, in favor of thinking that it's just all going to be okay with no action from you because of God, that is not what God has communicated to literally anyone ever. Like, within the context of Christianity, you have to do the work. Okay? If that was the case, nobody would ever do anything, and just magically grapes would appear on a golden plate for you to eat every day. No. Whatever your religion is, you have an earthly life where you have to do work and you have to make decisions and have free will, and you are just making the decision to not get prepared, and then when that has bad consequences, you're going to blame your God who you counted on to protect you, even though he was very clear that was your fucking job. He comes in at the end. In religion, right? He comes in, like, he might be there with you, but you still have free will. So he comes in at the end to take you further, is what their religion believes. And again, I'm not being religious, and I'm not preaching to you. I'm just speaking to my understanding, right? So, you're the one who fucked up in that situation, not your God. So, but when it comes to it, who are you going to blame? And then you're right at the end of your life, you're having kind of a religious existential crisis. And if your religion is correct, you might be in a little bit of trouble there. If you're having that much anger at God for not protecting you, even though he was clear that you should have been protecting yourself, that's a terrible argument. Okay. Another terrible argument I get from that side of things. And again, I got to piss everybody off. People that doubt the things I say because they say things like how the Bible does say, no man shall know when the world will end. And that's what they believe. That's perfectly fine. However, they're talking about the fucking rapture, not a societal collapse. Okay? Not a societal collapse. Because who was the America of the world when Jesus, again, allegedly, according to people's religion, we're staying in context here. I'm not making any either way. I'm not being political. But when Jesus walked the earth, who was America? Who was it? Are they still fucking here? Are they still a fucking global superpower? Is that society as it was still fucking here? Or did that society, the people who crucified Jesus, is that society still in fucking existence? No, because it fucking collapsed. The world as they knew it ended. Okay? But it was not the rapture. Those are completely different contexts in the Bible. Before all that happened, okay, there were other empires in the world, believe it or not, that rose and that fell, right? All over, throughout all of history, before the Bible and after, civilizations rise, they chill out for a couple of 100 years, and then they make bad decisions and they fall apart, basically. Or somebody else forces them to fall apart. One of those two things. Ironically, the events leading up to the fall of Rome are pretty fucking reminiscent of what we see in the goddamn news. Like the endless war and the war losses. Million things, similarities. There's also starting to be more and more similarities with the United States' current situation and the time leading up to the fall of the Soviet Union and the time leading up to the fall of Venezuela. Okay? Not political. I'm talking about like the events. Okay? Look at, for example, one of the big things, and I've researched this, one of the big things that was like the end of the Soviet Union was the states that made up the Union started to not want to be part of that Union anymore. And they split off, not in a civil war per se. They just all were like, hey, buddy, fuck you. We're going to be Lithuania now. And they were like, all right, basically, because they were already had all these other problems, okay? Who else has a lot of these problems? America, right? America has all these problems, okay? Arguably, more issues, okay? What were the issues, okay? They had food shortages. Check. We got an everything shortage. Check. Hold my beer. Check. All right. What did they have? They had widespread corruption. Fucking double check. You know what I mean? We make that corruption look like a fucking joke, right? Ours is legalized. At least they kind of pretended like it wasn't a thing. But anyways, all these things get checked. But here's the rub. Think about some states. Think about some states that are very opposed to the way the federal government's been doing things. And that those states are very heavily in that opinion. Right? Think about some states, right? These people talk to each other. Okay? Doesn't necessarily have to be a civil war. Do you think that National Guardsmen are going to fight against other National Guardsmen? Okay? Because if there were such a federal versus state war, a certain number of them, of whatever National Guard, a lot of them owe their sovereignty to their governor, by the way, they're not going to want to fight with the federal government. And the soldiers of the federal government are not going to also want to fight with these other soldiers. Okay? So, what do you have there? You have the same exact fucking thing that happened in the Soviet Union, where the state said, all right, nah, fam, we're Lithuania. All right, nah, fam, we're Texas. Okay? We're Florida. All right? We're Texas, Florida now. You know what I mean? They ain't going to do shit about it. It wouldn't be a fucking civil war. Because somebody has to pull those triggers. And they're not going to. Okay? And if there is, God fucking help us. Right? That's the best case scenario in that situation, right? But the point is, that's a very likely, even if not a guaranteed scenario, where the exact same fucking thing is starting to look like it could happen that happened to the Soviet Union, where the states pieced out and the Fed said, "Aight," okay? The dissolution of the United States, right? And then once the first ones do it, other ones follow suit, okay? And then it gets to a point where it's so fractured and stuff that even the ones that didn't have that big disagreement with the federal government don't get any value from the federal government, so they're just going to do their own thing. And there you go, we're a bunch of fucking smaller countries, okay? Then what happens, okay? These countries have a lot of shit to figure out amongst themselves at this point. So does Texas, Florida go to war with Louisiana? I don't know, right? And then become one big thing at the end of that? Who the fuck knows? At that point, we're getting too far out in the alternative history hub here, right? All that to say that if we look to history, the stuff we've seen lead to terrible fucking things in history are things we're seeing happen to us now. So what comes next? What is the cause and effect here? Okay? Because it's not just any one thing I've talked about here tonight. It's literally the amalgamation of all these things happen at fucking once, and that's this fucking winter and beyond. But the kickoff, guys, we are so fucking close to things kicking off, I can just explode. Like, I said before, maybe sometimes I can get in tune with things and other people. If empaths are real, I might be one. I don't know if they're real because, again, I don't fucking know shit. All right? So many things are just a 50-50 to me because I feel like that's how you should be until you actually know something. But if I am, and if I can feel things, and it's not just my own powerful emotions, which it may be, I'm not the only one who thinks this. I'm not the only one feeling this. And you get in tune with it, either with yourself or with the universe, whatever. And it's just like almost a certainty, right? Like you just can't. Don't you guys feel it? Don't you guys see it and hear it? I don't get it. I think a lot of you do. That's why I made this fucking TikTok literally 30 days ago that you're watching me on right now. Literally, I made this 30 days ago because my other account got taken down, as people do. Nothing I did. It was nothing like this channel. It got taken down. So I didn't get to bring any of those 100,000 people here. So what are we at? 75, 80, 180 now? 175, 180? All of those people, I got on board with a prepping only channel and this kind of stuff channel in 30 days time. So I'm not fucking alone. Okay? Let's just round up. Okay? Because I have friends too. I got Wildflower Smile. I got all these other people that have all these followers. Like they're different people a lot of the times too, right? So let's call it 200,000, 500,000 collectively between me and a few of my friends that have these big followings on here. I did that in 30 fucking days. What the fuck does that tell you about how people feel right now? And you know what? Maybe all these people feel this thing because it's fucking happening. You know what I'm saying? Your conspiracy theorists think the same way I do. But like that's the thing, guys. Like, yeah, I may like get into like conspiracies like as an interest and like JFK and stuff, which by the way, that was a thing. And obviously aliens are a thing with the UAP report. But like the stuff I'm talking about right now is not a fucking conspiracy. It's just not. Like some people mix conspiracies in with it. It's like more incompetence than anything, right? It's like a number of people, some of which may be involved in smaller conspiracies, but a number of people just being incredibly and fucking corrupt and incompetent. Whatever politics you have, it's literally both sides that we got to earlier. Boeing gives $60,000 every election cycle to both Republicans and Democrats. They give the exact same amount of fucking money, okay? So it's incompetence. We got to earlier. Boeing gives $60,000 every election cycle to both Republicans and Democrats. They give the exact same amount of fucking money, okay? So it's incompetence and it's corruption, okay? It's a gamble by people richer than us because they have bunkers and they don't fucking care because the downside of that gamble is much lower for them than for us, and the upside is much higher for them than for us, okay? That's the skinny, all right? Maybe because, again, I'll be at 200,000 people to hop on board this train in the last 30 days. And I'll tell you right now, these people are the smart ones. Not because they're following me in particular, but because they're interested in prepping. And even if they don't prep, but they're just like interested in hearing more and they have an open mind and they're critically thinking, these people are smart. I think a conspiracy, to the people in the comments point, requires more competence and organization than some of these people have, basically. These people are dumb, but they're just like lucky and not very ethical, more or less, right? I mean, look at like when they really are trying to do something, how bad of a job they do. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely can be examples. There's two things that go on. There's a thing that they pretend to do and fail at, and then there's a thing they really want to do and fail at. And you're going to see both all the fucking time. All right? The government, especially now, doesn't fucking do damn near anything. Like in Congress and stuff, like they talk a lot. They talk, and then they get credit for those things they talk about, but they don't, that credit doesn't require them actually fucking doing those things. And maybe that's the problem, right? Which, by the way, again, left or right or whatever you're on, this country is shifting quickly one way. Okay? So it's going to either make you happy or make you sad, but it doesn't matter because we're already on a trajectory. And again, both sides are fucking us. However, we just had the, smaller elections across the country. It is so fucking red. Okay? Not because like there's extra necessarily Republicans or anything. It's because the Biden administration has been a fucking joke. Okay? And like that's not even like political. Anybody else can be a fucking joke too. But literally, everything he said he was going to do, he either failed to do or just didn't even fucking try to do. Why the fuck do I still have student loans, Joe? Okay? You made some promises there. All right? Where the fuck is Kamala Harris even at? I hardly ever see her. I feel like I see her less than any other vice president I've ever had. And with her being like the one that's not a fucking geriatric, I really had hoped to see more of her than the fucking 80-year-old demented man. Which, by the way, most of our government, red or blue, are fucking geriatrics by definition. We are a geriatricocracy. Okay, I just made that up. Which, whatever you feel about that, maybe the slightly younger Camilla should probably be around a little bit more. Just my opinion. But again, I only do this shit if I piss everybody off, right? So again, they're all geriatrics. The majority of them. Okay? Let's get on to a little bit different topic with that. The internet. Facebook. You know how Facebook's always in trouble? Mom and dad lately? Facebook's in trouble with mom and dad? Well, so they're going, Instagram too, they're going to Congress, and Congress says, we got to do something about this. We got to fix this problem that you're having with the blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry, if you're of the older mindset, and you're offended easily, please scroll away for a moment. Go ahead. These people are fucking boomers, and they're trying to touch our shit, guys. The internet, the apps, this is our shit, guys, and these fucking boomers are playing with their goddamn toys, except for they don't know what they're doing. They're going to break it. They're going to break it more than they already did, all right? And really, the sad thing is, it's technology, and these companies are getting worse now, not better, okay? Moderation in its current form with the automated robotic bots that do a terrible job and leave stuff that shouldn't be up, and take stuff that breaks no rules down. That's what happened to my last channel, by the way. They've ruined fucking everything. The fucking algorithms. And baby, I'm sorry. Please take care of me, algorithm. I'm not talking about you, baby. Okay? The Facebook algorithm fucked everything up. All right? Truly, if you're old enough to remember earlier Facebook, like early 2010s and before, it was all most recent. It was fucking chronological. Your friend would make a post, and then Timmy would make a post, and then Sarah would make a post, and you would see those, depending on the time of day they fucking posted them, in a feed, right? That fucking worked just goddamn fine, okay? But at the time, Facebook wasn't yet monetized. So what did they do? They needed a way to fucking manipulate you with their goddamn algorithm. Not you, baby. Not you. You're good. We're cool. We're not. Oh, she's evil. But anyways, they need to manipulate you so then their advertisers can make more money. And that's what they found out. And that's what they're mad about, is because this algorithm would then manipulate people and show them if there was you remember they put out those reactions that used to just be likes. When you mad react something, that makes it more likely than any other reaction to be shown to more people by the Facebook algorithm. That's what's came out recently. Okay, mad reacts get more show time. Okay, if we're going to use it in this, if this had that, a mad react would mean you get on the For You page, basically, right? Because they learned if they can make people mad, they can make people spend money. Okay, and that makes them one of the biggest fucking billionaire companies in the world. These companies make up 10% of our fucking GDP. The Facebooks and the Googles of the world, 10% of our goddamn GDP. Okay, it didn't used to be that way. 10 years ago, Facebook was fucking great. Okay, it did what it needed to do. They could polish it and improve it some from there, sure. But in this last 10 years, it's gotten worse, not better. Again, iPhones, slight tangent, were better 10 years ago. Okay, where the fuck's my home button? Where the fuck's my headphone jack? All right, in the time where people gotta wear masks, why the fuck does my phone only have a Face ID and not a thumbprint scanner anymore for my old phone? Okay, technology is getting worse. I feel like that's a bad thing. Excuse the fuck out of me. But going back to the Facebook, why are the fucking boomers the ones trying to fix it when they don't fucking understand it or use it? Okay? Like, they don't understand the goddamn problem. All right? They want to tweak the algorithm. Okay? When simply the solution for Facebook is just to not have the goddamn manipulative algorithm and just have it be chronological, and it works the same fucking way for our purposes, I feel like, right? They just don't get it. And the moderation too. It's not just the algorithm, it's the moderation, which are also algorithms, but the moderation bots that they use, because the boomers say that you got to moderate this shit. You got to control what people are saying on there. If you're not, you're liable, Facebook. First of all, no, you're fucking not. All right. If we're in a public forum, we need to treat these things like public forums. Okay. If a man's saying things he shouldn't say, like yelling fire in a movie theater, okay, you don't fucking take down the goddamn movie theater about that, okay? You deal with the guy fucking saying something that he couldn't say, that causing a panic and like making people trample each other out of the movie theater. You don't sue the movie theater itself, what that guy did. But yet the government seems to think that Facebook's responsible for what this guy did. Okay, for not taking it down. Well, here's a fucking surprise. We're in a fucking labor shortage. And also, you're not going to pay literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people to be actual moderators to look for that guy when they're still not going to fucking find him half the time. No, what do? You have a robot do it. You have an automated program do it. Well, here's the rub. These programs fucking suck. Not you, baby. Okay, don't be mad. Oh, boy, I hate her. Anyways, these programs fucking suck, and they're bad at their job, okay? And these programs are also intermingled with that money-making algorithm. So when there's content that like hurts their ability to make money or speaks critically of them, that content gets moderated more. That is a fucking fact, okay? That happens, and that's okay with the boomers that are regulating this stuff or trying to now. That's fine. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about that. They want more of that. They want more control over what people say online. Okay, they want more control, and they want more surveillance and more ability to use that to hurt you, basically. Okay, when the whole problem is just that there's too many of these goddamn algorithms going on. Not you, baby. I fucking love you. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. She's evil, guys. Run. But anyways, the thing is, it doesn't have to be this way. Why? I want everybody with me right now to sign a fucking pledge. Okay. I will never again in my fucking life, if we get that far, vote for a fucking boomer. Ever. If you're my age, and I already told you guys boomers to please scroll, no disrespect. Go on. If you're my age, I want us to get like a pledge, or like something online even, and like a pledge that you will literally, it's like a celibacy pledge, but it's like just don't make bad decisions. Not vote for a fucking boomer ever again. Okay? Ever. If we all did that, we'd fix a lot of our fucking problems, okay? And like, again, if you're a boomer, all apologies, all due respect. Look, you're here on TikTok. You're obviously not the person I'm talking about. You have at least this level of cognitive technology. But anyways, if we got rid of the boomers in government, like the geriatrics, the 80-year-old fucking men with dementia, if we got rid of all that and had 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, up 50-year-olds even. All that's fine. Maybe even a few late 20s, That's where I'm at. If we had that group of people that grew up more or less with access to the internet and know how to like find things out and like have this augment to their abilities, which we can do here. And like, to me, that means a little bit fucking smarter because you have the whole repository of fucking human knowledge at your goddamn fingertips and they don't know how to fucking send an email without an intern doing it for them. To me, that makes you a more reasonable, better decision-making kind of person to be in government. Just to me. And it's not really about age and like you can respect your elder and stuff. It's really purely about technology and exposure to that environment, right? It's not about like not respecting elders. It's more about these elders were disadvantaged compared to us mentally. And like there was lead in their paint. You know what I mean? So like it's not their fault necessarily, but we got to stop living with the consequences of that. That's what I have to say about boomers, okay? They can do their thing, but maybe, Gramps, get your quick grip in the wheel, okay? We just drove through the window of an Arby's. I think I'm going to drive from here, Grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still thinking he's driving, but you're smashed through the window of an Arby's 10 minutes ago. That's where we're at right now with our government. And you're in the passenger seat, and your kids are in the back seat. So perhaps you may want to sign my pledge to never again vote for a fucking boomer. Again, I'm not being political. I'm just saying we'd be better off. I didn't say technology's bad. I said that there are bad technologies and applications they're in. Facebook is a perfectly fine thing. I like the idea of an online public forum because public forums are fucking important. Okay? I like the idea of that. However, I don't like the idea of somebody coming in there with a robot and manipulating it with the sole purpose of making us angry, literally mad reacts, to then take our money. That's not technology, okay? That's something else, using technology. That makes sense to you? Technology is fine. Technology can make us better, but it can also hurt us because we're pieces of shit and we hurt other people. At least a certain percent of us do, right? So it's just like anything else, like with your stapler, okay? This doesn't staple things. People do, okay? It's the same thing. Technology doesn't cause the problem. It's how it's used by people. So, well, I'm going to think about it if I actually want to make this like an actual thing you can sign. I don't really see the point besides the symbolism, but if you need that to be your symbol, we can do that. But otherwise, just take out a piece of paper and just fucking write on it as many times as you need to get it. I will not fucking vote for a goddamn boomer ever again in my life. Write that down. Put it in your wallet. Whatever you want to do as a reminder. And then just really the thing is just don't fucking do it. Like no matter what. Like let's not be tricked again, guys. Let's not like play into their narrative that you have to do it or else the world's already fucking ending, okay? In which case we have nothing left to lose, so we have the power as far as like who we're voting for. So you might as well vote for somebody you believe in, and I'm probably going to guess it's not a boomer. So with that, guys, I'm going to end it. I'm going to go eat dinner. So I hope you'd enjoyed this rant, this stand-up routine, and we'll go from there. All right? Thanks, guys.